Good evening, everybody. Derek Me Show here, and it is time for another episode of Flush in the Pocket presented by Brunswick Bowling. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day, evening, had a good morning. You're all ready to go for this awesome episode. And boom, we have already got one viewer. Thank you for watching. Feel free to chime in on in the comments. And if you are watching this, not to copy a good friend of mine, but if you're watching this later and you got something to say, please leave a comment. Oh, now that person is gone. Anyway, that's okay. So before we get started with this episode, I live in Orono, Maine, and the community lost a great man today, early this morning. Frankie Morrison died at the age of 81 years old, and everybody called him the mayor of Orono. And, he was just, everybody knew him. Everybody around town, knew who he was. And I mean, very familiar with him. He was everywhere. He went to, not plugging anything, but he went to, a couple pizza place here in Orono, and he went to another local bar called The Roost. When it was The Roost, now it is not The Roost, but I'll be going there very probably after this video and just doing a video. So what I might do, actually, if you just give me 1 second, I'm going to put my phone on the charger, and then we'll get started, and we'll talk a little bit about bowling. We'll reveal tonight's guest. Be right back. Do it. So we are back, and tonight's guest is a world-renowned bowler. 18 PBA titles on PlayStation. 6 300 games on PlayStation. And then, I don't know, whatever, on Xbox One. No guest tonight. I'm just playing around. The guest is me. I'm the guest. I'm a guest of my own podcast. I better not say anything offensive. I don't want to kick myself off or be kicked off by me. But anyway, I'm just playing around, people. There is no guest tonight, which is kind of rarity. This is the first time I've done one by myself in a long time. So here's what I've done. And here's what we're doing tonight. So the PBA League Draft, the Elias Cup, is tomorrow. The draft for the Elias Cup is tomorrow. And tonight we're going over every eligible bowler and pretty much their stats and whatnot. So I'm going to be kind of a little bit all over the place. I don't really have a lot of notes, kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I mean, I've never done that before. So I'll be, moving around some tabs and whatnot and talking about who I think should be protected. We're going to go over the PBA League teams as they are right now, and we're going to assume that that the 22 teams and the 23 teams are going to be the same. They're not, but we're going to assume they are. So we're just going to talk about them, and we're going to say, okay, who should Portland Lumberjacks drop? Who should LAX drop? Stuff like that. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. First off, what do we want to do? Let's see. Give me 1 second here. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the Anthony division, or Yeah, we're going to do the Anthony division and the Carter division. Anthony first because A before C in the alphabet. So let's have a little bit of fun. Let's do this. All right. All right. So in the Anthony division, you have, I'm going to move this around. See if I, hold on one second here. Oh, no, that's not going to work at all. All right. So you have LAX. Who's on LAX? Let's see if I can do this. I'm sure I can. Make sure yeah, that's perfect. LAX is managed by Andrew Kane. And who is on that team? Well, you have Jason Belmonte, and I can't share this with you. I don't think I can share my screen, but I'm just gonna go over these, and you will. Hold on. Oh, okay. Hold on. All right. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. I just want to make sure that I have everything here. And I do. Uh-oh. Okay, there we go. All right. So let's go back at it. LAX consists of Jason Belmonte. Who has ever heard of that guy? I mean, is that guy any good? Has he even won a title yet? Just kidding. Of course he has. The best bowler of all time as of right now. Stuart Beef Stu Williams. Jacob Buttriff. Chris Barnes. Martin Larson are on that team. Now, before we go any further, I want to give a big shout out to Spare Time Recreation in Augusta, or Hallowell, Maine. I live in Maine. Hallowell is about an hour. It's very close to Augusta, about an hour for me. And they are doing a clinic, like a coaching clinic on September 21st, right before the PBA League starts on Friday in Portland. And that is being put on by Sean Rash. And right now he's got Wes Malott, Marshall Kent, Andrew Anderson, Jacob Buttriff, and quite a few others announced. So it's going to be awesome. Looking forward to that. So maybe you'll see a lot of these guys on that. I mean, on in that event. If you are in the area and you want to find out more about it, just call Donna at 207. It ends in 6,000, 623 6,000. So there we go. All right. So we have, like I said, Jason Belmonte, Stuart Williams, Jacob Buttriff, Chris Barnes, Martin Larson. So Jason Belmonte will probably be protected for the rest of his life, or rest of the life of the PBA League. I can't see LAX ever dropping Jason Belmonte. And the reason I say that is because when the PBA League started in 2011, he was on that team, and he used to be the manager, if you will, because he actually picked the team, but now the manager is USBC Hall of Famer and former USBC president Andrew Kane. So Belmo, I think, is safe. So let's look at Jacob Buttriff, Stuart Williams, Chris Barnes, Martin Larson. So here's something with that. If you drop Stuart Williams, he'll be picked up. Stewart's seems like he's been on this team forever as well. And Chris Barnes, he's such a hot commodity. Chris Barnes is only bowled on 2 teams, either the Atom Splitters or LAX. So I'm trying to think of where, let me see. Trying to think where the Atom Splitters are from. Anyway. Excuse me. So, okay. I think if they get rid of Chris Barnes, Mark Baker will try to pick him up. Excuse me. Because Mark Baker, well, come on. Yeah. Mark Baker is the manager of the Atom Splitters. And I mean, Mark is Chris's coach, basically. I mean, always has been. They are very tight. And, having let's say, I mean, Chris Barnes, basically, I guess what I'm saying is if he gets let go, he's going to be picked very, very early on. And anything I say tonight has nothing to do with how I feel about these players. Do I like these players? Do I not like these players? That has nothing to do with that. This is just conversation, and that's it. So, let's see. So I think Andrew's going to protect Barnes. I think he's going to protect Stu. And I think Jacob Buttriff and Martin Larson might be in trouble because, I don't know. I don't know if they would get. I would like to think they would get picked. Martin hasn't won a title yet, and he is a former guest on this show. And I mean, he's a great player and great guy, but you just never know. I mean, Ronnie Russell hasn't been picked in a while, and he's a great player. So I mean, you never know. So I say the 2 that are going to get dropped from that are Martin Larson and Jacob Buttriff. Jacob Buttriff will have no problem picking up another team. All right. So let's look at the Dallas Strikers. So last year's team was, of course, Norm Duke, Bill O'Neill, Tommy Jones, Santu, Tahavanainen. Apparently, a lot of people have a problem saying that name. Santu Tahavanainen. And Matt Ogle. Team manager, Norm Duke. The only player manager in the PBA league. Now, Norm is going to be the manager. He is not bowling this coming year. He is done bowling. Okay? So when I talked to him last year in Portland, I said, Norm, enjoy your retirement. Are you bowling PBA senior or PBA 50? Nope. Bowling any league? No. I'm completely done. So then I had him on my podcast, Flush in the Pocket. Yeah, I do hope that Pete gets saved. We'll talk about that coming up. And when I had Norm on Flush in the Pocket, he said he's coming to Portland. He is absolutely not bowling. He was actually asked several times, and it was almost uncomfortable because I've asked Norm on either before we went on the air or on the air. Hey, are you bowling, Norm? You gonna bowl the PBA league? Just bowl. Nope, nope. And then people, and I get it. You can ask any question you want because that's what you guys do. You're watching the podcast. You're asking questions, and everybody was asking, Norm, are you bowling? And I had to say, Norm, here's a question, and I, show the question. Nope, not bowling, not bowling. And it was almost, I knew the answer, and it was asked like 3 or 4 times, and I was like, ugh. So Norm Duke is out as a bowler, and you know who would fit right in? Because they don't have a left-hander as far as I know. Now, I mean, these are not, I think Santu to Havanainen is a two-hander on the right side. Obviously, Norm's a right-hander. Billy's a right-hander. Tommy's a right-hander. Matt is a right-hander. So, you know who would fit in on the Dallas Strikers? What they need? One Jacob Butters Buttriff. So I'm going to pick that Jacob Buttriff replaces Norm Duke as the 5th bowler. Or it might be the first bowler, because I believe Norm, judging by this list here, Norm was the leadoff. They're going by the leadoff here, so there it is. So I'm picking that Jacob Buttriff goes to the Dallas Strikers. Find out tomorrow at 1:00. By the way, I'm gonna purchase a month of Bowl TV, and I don't think I can stream it here, but I can see if I can either do it on my phone, watch it on my phone, and keep you updated. So you'll hear some audio, but I'm just doing it to keep you updated. How tomorrow's show is going to look is there's going to be a lot of dead air. There's going to be a lot of that going on. A lot of hold on. Oh, Jason Couch drafted by the whatever. I'm just throwing that as an example. But so that's what's happening tomorrow. So my prediction right now, like I said, Butters to Dallas. All right, so let's look at the hometown team, if you will, and 3-time defending champions, the Portland Lumberjacks. You've got the Big Nasty, Wes Smollett, Shark, Chris Prather, Kyle Troop, Packy Hanrahan, Arturo Quintero. Manager, Tim Mack. Man, this is going to be tough. Who do you protect? So here's the thing. Wes Smollett has some injuries. He definitely does. He's got a bad back. He went from throwing 15 pounds to 14 pounds. He went from 15 to 14 back to 15. And he is just, when he was bowling the Tournament of Champions, he did not look good. It was almost like it was, I don't know. It was just, he made it through his first match when they did the 17 bowler field. And then he just, it was a mess. But Wes Smollett is on the list. Chris Prather. Chris really didn't have his best year. But by the way, I want to congratulate all the 75 bowlers that weren't on a team last year that are eligible to be drafted this year. That takes a lot. So Prather, good showing in the PBA Tour Finals. He did a great job in that tournament. Just not his best year. And, he was battling a wrist injury. And you have, of course, Kyle Troop. Again, he didn't have his best year. But he is... Because when you look at Kyle Troop, 2021, it's like, okay, I need to have close to what 2021 was, or it's not a good season for me. 2021 wasn't a fluke. It wasn't. Kyle's not like, oh, well, hey, well, at least I had 2021. No, he's trying to make a living. He's trying to pad his stats as he should. And so he wants to win. I mean, they all do, but he wants another 2021 season very, very soon. If not, look out for him in 2024. So Packy Hanrahan, last year Packy Hanrahan had 0 titles. How many does he have now? Is it still 0? No, it's not. He has not 1, but 2 titles. And he won. They were both extra frame events. Excuse me. He won with Mitch Hoope. So Mitch Hoope is now a PBA champion. And he won another tournament. So he won in, yeah. I know the gutter caps were blue. That's all I know. But yeah, he won. Oh, he won in Kokomo. He won the Kokomo championship. So there you go, Packy Hanrahan. And of course, Arturo Quintero. Arturo lives in Maine. Okay, he's from Mexico, but he now lives in Portland, Maine. He lives in Portland, Maine, and he is I mean, bowling on the PBA Tour. Bayside Bowls sponsoring him. I think that's how that's going. And yeah, so how do you not pick that guy again? And Tim Mack is, of course, the manager. Tim Mack, one of the greatest amateur bowlers of all time, if not the greatest. All right. So I'm going to make my picks here of who is going away from the Portland Lumberjacks. I'm going to say, because I think you can protect up to 3. I'm going to say that Wes Malott, who loves Portland, and I say Wes Malott and Prather go. So this is kind of a mock draft. We'll talk about where they would go, if they go at all. I'm just checking the chat just to see where everybody is, if anybody's saying anything. So there's that. Now, here is the next one in the Carter, or in the Anthony division. You have the New York City Kingpins. You got Pete Weber. You got Marshall Kent. You have Darren Tang, Kyle Sherman, Michael Tang. Yep. So again, Pete Weber, Marshall Kent, Darren Tang, Kyle Sherman, Michael Tang. You know what kind of bugs me about the Tang brothers is that it's hard for me to tell them apart. I mean, they're identical twins. I can't tell you how many times, hey, Michael, how's it going? Darren. Oh, well, hey, Darren. Hey, Michael. Or hey, Darren, how's it going? I'm Michael. Oh, man. You know how embarrassing that is? It's just, and especially when they don't know you very well. It's like, do you not know who I am? Who do you think you are? I am. Anyway, so I'm going to say that, the manager of that team is CDB, not the Charlie Daniels Band, but Carolyn Doran Ballard, who is one of the best women bowlers of all time on the PWBA Tour. And she was her and Dell were on this podcast. That was a lot of fun. Carolyn is a great person and whatnot. So I'm going to say, I think they're going to drop. It's tough because how do you drop Pete Weber? How do you not protect Pete Weber? He doesn't even bowl. He doesn't even bowl the PBA tour anymore. So how do you not? How do you drop him? Because the only way he could bowl this is if he is on this team. If he's one of the 3 protected. So I think though, because I messaged Mr. Weber on Facebook and I asked him, I said, would you like to be on the podcast? I would love to sit down with you for about an hour or so. And I said, hey, I'll see you in September. And he said, well, you can have 20 minutes, And why are you going to see me in September? Well, the PBA League in Portland. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to that. So because of that right there, I think Pete is kind of burnt out with it. I don't know. I'm not speaking for the man. I'm not trying to speak for the man. This is a podcast where you give your opinions. So I think he's kind of burnt out and he kind of wants to, it's a long way to go just to throw 2 shots and on TV and you might be done, because this is Baker bowling. So I say Pete Weber is not going to be protected. I want him to be. I would love to see Pete Weber. Would love to be able to have a conversation with him. So again, I don't want anything that I'm saying. Like I would love to see all these teams come back the way they were. But I'm going to say that Pete Weber is not going to be protected, and I think Kyle Sherman not going to be protected only because of the simple fact that I just don't see it. Tang brothers, you're going to keep them together. You don't necessarily have to, but so I say Pete Weber and Kyle Sherman are on the out. And let's look at the hands. So you have, of course, everybody's a right-hander. Okay. Again, I am going to kind of clone everybody if they let somebody go here, which they're going to. I think they have to. Butters might be a good fit there too. So we'll see. We will see. All right. The Milwaukee Pounders. All right. And it is going to be Dick Allen, Ryan Simonelli, Sean Rash, AJ Chapman, Anthony Lavery Spar, and team manager is one Marshall Holman, Medford Meteor, 22-time PBA champion. What a guy. And that's going to be tough. Because there's so many people on this list that if you go and if, let's say, Dick Allen goes, he's a top pick. Oh my God, Dick Allen's available. Oh man, as soon as I'm picking Dick Allen. I mean, how do you not? The guy loves Portland. The guy was a 2-time MVP, I do believe. Mark Roth, MVP. Rest in peace, Mark Roth. So I'm going to say that. Ooh. The players that will stay: Dick Allen, Sean Rash, and Anthony Lavery Spar. I think Chapman's going in the pool and Ryan's going in the pool. Hope you can swim. Now, do I want that? Of course not. Like I said, this is just a conversation. Why do I keep mentioning that? Because, again, I don't want somebody to tune in and be like, hey, that guy invited me to be on his show and he says I'm going in the pool. I'm not going to be picked. I'm not going to be saved. Oh, shoot. I don't want to be on his show and I don't like him anymore. So that's why I kind of repeat myself. Now, that's what's going to happen there. Now, this is going to be interesting. Okay. Motown Muscle. EJ Tackett. Let's actually forget that one for a second because, for obvious reasons, he should be mentioned last. Kevin Williams, Brad Miller, Anthony Simonson, Mitch Hoope, EJ Tackett. Notice why I mentioned EJ Tackett very last. Yeah. Well, we just gotta see. Adam says Kevin McCune deserves to be drafted. So does his father. What the heck? Let's put Eugene in there. No. We'll talk about that in a second. All right. So we'll talk about that. We're going to go over. This is going to be a long podcast. And again, I apologize if I'm putting everybody to sleep. That's not what I'm trying to do. All right. So who do you protect from the Motown Muscle or on the Motown Muscle? Who do you protect from the Motown? I need to protect you from this team. They're going to hurt you. Gosh, it's kind of tough. I think what's going to end up happening with this one, this is going to go two ways. So, pancake, Dr. Phil says all the time, pancake, no matter how flat you make a pancake, it has two sides. So, we're going to go in the two-sided pancake here. Here's one side. You protect EJ Tackett. You protect Anthony Simonson. You protect Kevin Williams. Because Mitch Hoope, I didn't see in the top 75. Even though he won a title with, maybe I'm missing something, but I don't think he's in the pool. I don't think he's swimming. I think he's on the deck watching everybody in the pool. And man, I wish I was in that pool. All right, so I'm going to do a couple things here. I am going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want. But that's after the two-sided pancake. I think they could either protect, obviously. I know they're protecting EJ and Anthony. The reason I say I don't know that. For all we know, they could just be like, well, I know you were player of the year. I know you were second in player of the year. But good luck. Hope you make it. Hope you get on a team. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that EJ and Anthony are going to be protected. And I actually think one side of me thinks, the top side of the pancake thinks, that's the only ones that are going to be protected is EJ and Anthony. Brad Miller, Mitch Hoope, Kevin Williams. Yeah, good luck. Now, the other side is they could protect EJ, Anthony, Kevin. And the reason I say that is I think I've heard Kevin Williams is leaving the PBA Tour. I hope that's not true. So if anybody has any insight on that. Now, Adam, are you saying you want them protected, or do you know for a fact? So let's go back here. I don't think he knows for a fact. I mean, obviously, well, maybe he does. Maybe was there a list? Adam is a big super fan. Was there a list? of who's protected? And if so, got it. Got it. All right. Now, so let's review my two-sided pancake, right? EJ Anthony get protected. Everybody else sink or swim. Okay. EJ Anthony and Kevin Williams get protected because Kevin's last year on the tour, I think. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Now, here's what I want. Here's what I want. And this is kind of, you're going to think this is a stupid reason. I would love to see Mitch Hoope back in Portland this year. So, I'm going to tell you a story. Last year, I was staying at the Econo Lodge in Fairfield, Maine? Something like, I don't know, 20 miles away or something like that. Enough of a drive to have it be inconvenient. Okay. I was staying at that hotel. So I'm there. July 6th. All right. That was the first night of the PBA League, was July 6th. That was the first live show. So I am one of those bowlers or fans or whatever. I mean, I am a bowler, but I'm one of those bowlers that I wear my name on the back of my shirt if I am going to any of these events, any event that has anything to do with any PBA bowler. If Sean Rash is signing autographs at Walmart, bet your butt I'm going to be there wearing one of these shirts, right? Not saying he's signing autographs at Walmart. I'm not trying to put Sean somewhere where he's not going to be. So, relax. So this gentleman comes up to me and says, Micho, you're a Micho. Yeah? Oh, well, that's French. I'm French as well. Okay. He says, I'm Mitch Hoope's dad. Oh. Whose name is also Mitch. And so my buddy was like, Derek, we got to go. Because it was late. It was like 11 o'clock. And, it was just, like I said, the drive was long. It was enough to be inconvenient. So there was. But I would have talked to him all night. And then I talked to him pretty much all week. Every time I saw him, I chatted with him and whatnot. And he's a great guy. He really is. I love Mitch Hoope's dad. I'm a big fan of Matt Ogle's dad. Now, I like the families. I like Tom Russo too. And, so we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm hoping that Mitch Hoope is going to the PBA League in Portland. All right. So I'm gonna predict that the first prediction, EJ and Anthony are the only ones protected. That's my prediction. Sorry, it's just my prediction. We'll see. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Okay. Just making sure there are no other comments in the chat. Hopefully everybody's having a good evening. Thank you so much for watching. All right. So the next one we're done. We're done with the Anthony division. Now we're going to go. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I already did the Carter. I already did Norm Duke. Okay, so here's what we got. The Hitmen are now in Chicago. Team manager, well, we'll talk about that in a second. Your bowlers on the Chicago Hitmen hitmen are Dom Barrett, Tom Smallwood, Sean Maldonado, Nick Pate, Jake Peters. Your team manager is none other than, let's see. I'm going to play with the crowd a little bit. He's a left-hander. He is a PBA champion. He has thrown Ebonite his whole entire career. He's in Claremont, Florida. He has had more knee surgeries than I think anybody has ever had on the PBA tour. And of course, apparently, and I want some cookies from Mama Vi in Portland. Yes, of course, Adam knows everything about the PBA. He makes me look like I know nothing. Just kidding. It's like, Adam is a PBA super fan. Of course, we're talking about Jason Couch. I was going to say, 4 majors, 3 times tournament of champions in a row. Nobody's ever done that. But yeah. So there's that. What could they do? What will they do? Chicago Hitmen, I think the players that are in trouble, and I really don't want them to be, are Tom Smallwood and maybe Tom Smallwood and Nick Pate. I think those players are in trouble. The other side of the coin is you could also say that Sean Maldonado might be out. I don't know. Let's look at it. Tom Smallwood has the World Championship. He has the Scorpion Championship, and he has the 2018 Players Championship. 3 titles. Hasn't won in almost 6 years. Great story. People rip on Tom because of his bowling style. I love it. Tom's one of my best friends, actually. I mean, I could text him right now and just say, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And he's just a great guy. So I want him protected. I actually think that one's tough. I think it's going to be Dom Barrett and Sean Maldonado. I think that might be the ones that are protected. We'll find out tomorrow. This thing, like I said, I'm going to be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be one of those, I'm not going to be talking the whole time. It's going to be one of those podcasts where I'm on my phone and I'm like, okay, so-and-so was drafted. Okay, so-and-so was let go. So I think I don't know. It's going to be tough. Tomorrow is going to be a busy day. So, all right. So I think Dom Barrett and did I say Jake Peters? I think Dom Barrett, Jake Peters are safe. Sean, Tom, and Nick are gone. That's just my opinion. Tom's my buddy. I want him protected big time. He is you won't find a better guy than Tom Smallwood. You got a couple watching. Thank you. All right. So the next thing we're going to do in this, after we do the other team, is we're going to go and look at the players that are on the list of people that were not on a team last year, but are eligible this year. All right. So the next one is the High Rollers, the Las Vegas High Rollers. Last year, you had Francois Lavoie, Andrew Anderson, A.J. Johnson, Matt Russo, Ildemar Ruiz Jr., and Amleto Monticelli is your team manager. Again, Francois Lavoie, 1. Andrew Anderson, 2. A.J. Johnson, 3. Matt Russo, 4. Ildemar Ruiz Jr., number 5. And your team manager, born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, Amleto Monticelli. Okay. He's from Venezuela. So let's basically assume that one of them is a guaranteed save. I'm just playing around when I do these. Let's assume Ildemar Ruiz is going to be saved because he's Amleto's fellow countryman. Amleto is from Barquisimeto, Venezuela. I believe Ildemar is from the same city in Venezuela. So I think that's a lock. And I'm not saying... Now, I want to say this. Everything that I'm saying, I'm not, well, so-and-so did a podcast and they said this, so I'm going to say this because they have more insight than me. No, it does make sense. So there it is. So let's say Ildemar is safe. And again, who else would they save? I mean, A.J. Johnson, I'd love to see him I want to see him back. Because, and this is kind of different for me this year because now I have a podcast. So I can go up to so-and-so and Anthony and be like, hey, I got a podcast. Would you like to be on it sometime? It takes about an hour and a half. I mean, it doesn't have to take an hour and a half. I did episodes with Adam Colton, that was like 30 minutes. Don Moser was about 35 minutes, something like that. Guys like Anthony and all that stuff, all those guys, that I could see that being an hour and a half, 2 hours, or even an hour podcast. Whatever they want to do. So, yeah, we'll see. So I think it's going to be Ildemar and AJ protected. As well as Francois Lavoie. So we'll see. 2 more teams. You've got the Atom Splitters. And I can't remember where these teams are from as far as, yeah, I mean, the Atom Splitters. All right. You got Tom Doherty, Mr. 100, Jesper Svensson, Chris Vi, whose mom who makes awesome cookies, apparently, DJ Archer, and Brandon Novak. Team manager is Mark Baker. If somebody's in the chat, will they tell me where the Atom Splitters, what city that is from? I'm drawing a blank. But anyway. Okay. So here's where I think that one's going to go. I think Tom Doherty... Man, that is so tough. Tom Doherty's going to get protected, I think. DJ Archer's got a big hook. Chris Vi's a two-hander on the right side. Svensson, a two-handed left-hander. Brandon Novak. I think he's got a weird style, if I remember right. So I think that Tom Doherty and Tom Doherty and Chris Vi get protected. What if, I don't know. I mean, there's a big possibility that they could work it that the Atom Splitters get to have, maybe they can have Dick Allen, Tom Doherty, Chris Barnes, Mark. I could see Mark Baker doing that. All right. So, but I don't know. We'll see. So I say Tom Doherty and Chris Vi get protected. Now, the Snickers, or I think it's just Waco Wonder now. But yeah, last year was Snickers Waco Wonder. And yeah, Thomas Larson, BJ Moore, Walter Ray Williams Jr., Jason Sterner, Parker Bone III. Managed by Johnny Petraglia. Now, Jason Sterner, Parker Bone, and Walter Ray used to be the Brooklyn Styles. I mean, my heart says protect Sterner, Parker, and Walter Ray. Again, though, Walter Ray and Parker, who just had a birthday, Parker did. Happy belated on Thursday. Parker's 60, Walter Ray is going to be 64. It's just a long way to go for two shots. I mean, Parker could drive, but, I don't know. I really see BJ Moore and Thomas Larson being let go. Be interesting. All right, so those are the PBA League teams. Now we're gonna go and where is it's right here. Okay. So this is the eligible players for the draft tomorrow. These are people that do not have PBA teams. You got Kevin McCune, Sam Cooley, Tomas Kauko, Sean Lavery Spar, Justin Knowles, Richie Teese, Michael Martell, and then you have Nathan Bohr, Graham Fa, Tommy Hess, Kim Bullaby, Zach Tackett, Zach Wilkins, Osku Palermo, and then you got Frank Snodgrass, Cody Shoemaker, Brandon Runk, Christian Ascona. I'm pulling for him because he's on Bolify staff with me. Wesley Lowe Jr., Joseph Grondin, Country Boy Ronnie Russell, Anthony Ginger Assassin Nair, Matt Kuba, Cortez Shank, Trevor Roberts, Michael Davidson, Brian Holland, Halen, David Kroll, and Patrick Dombrowski. Those are your eligible draft people. And this is tough because so many great. Now, Anthony Nair, I think I can't see him not getting picked. I watched this kid bowl in a junior gold of finals or whatever, and then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, the kid's on the PBA tour, and the next thing you know, he's the fourth ever bowler to make the 710 in a place where I don't think anybody would ever make a 710. Reno, because you know what reminds me of Reno. And I know that it's a center that nobody would ever, unless, some of the pros are going to be there in September. But a center like Spare Time in Augusta reminds me of Reno because of, how like when the ball enters the pins, the pin sweep comes down right away. I hate those, but yeah. That's why I never thought that Anthony Nair would ever make a 710, or not just Anthony Nair, but anybody. So I think Anthony's going to get picked. Sean has been there before. Anthony's been there before. Richie Teese has been there before. I think I'd love to see Tommy Hess get picked. I really would. I mean, how cool would it be to have Zach Tackett go against his brother or with his brother? And Osku, I haven't met Osku yet. I have not shaken the hand of Osku Palermo yet. Let's make that happen. So, I think from this list, I think actually, you know what? I think Kevin McCune could very easily be a top pick. I think he could go early, as in first overall. Why? Well, look at what he did. He wins the Players Championship. He dominated that event. He owned it. And he's very fiery. He kind of keeps to himself, but he's very fiery. And he's just like his dad. Yeah, I don't know. I think Kevin, if we tuned into the draft tomorrow and we saw, Kevin McCune, first overall pick. Yep. That wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't. So there's that. And let me go back to it here. Again, I would love to see Ronnie Russell back. How many of these people are going to get picked? So I don't think, I'm going to go over the list of people I don't think are going to get picked. I don't know anything about Trevor Roberts. I don't know anything about Brian. I don't know anything about David Kroll. Christian Azcona had a good run a couple of years ago at the Players Championship. Bolify staffer, I'm really pulling for you, buddy. I'd love to meet you. Kevin's going to get picked. I mean, how does he not? Sam Cooley. Sam Cooley's an interesting one because Sam Cooley was not picked last year. He's angry. He's like, all right. It's kind of it's one of those things. Hey, how dare you not pick me? Well, okay, fine. You didn't pick me. That just means I got to work harder next year. And he did. I'm sure, he had a great year and he's going to get picked this year, I think. So Then, so I think it's going to be Kevin, Sam. Kevin and Sam are going. Tom Hess is an interesting one. I'd love to see him get picked because he's a friend of mine, but I mean, USBC Masters champion in 2011. That's really his only title. If I remember right, that's his only title. But I don't see Kim getting picked. I don't see Ryan getting picked. David or Cody. I don't think they're going to get picked. Frank, maybe. But I mean, it's one of those things. I think the people from this, I'm going to call it right now, final answer. The people that are going to get picked are Kevin McCune, Sam Cooley, Tomas Kauku, Richie Teese, Tom Hess, Anthony Nyer, and Zach Tackett. I mean, I think I don't know how many people are being left off of this list. I don't know how many will get drafted, but that's just my thoughts. So we've been going at this for it's right over here. Over an hour. And I want to thank you guys for watching. And please tune in tomorrow. I'm going to purchase 1 month and 1 month only of Bowl TV so I can watch the draft. It's like getting a ticket. Hey, I want to go to this event. Well, that'll be $8 to get in, please. Okay, sure, here you go. So we'll see what happens. And I'll see you tomorrow at 1:00. And I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. By the way, before I go, tune in on Thursday, Bowling with the Fef. I mean, what a guy he is. He's been on this show. He was my first interview. And he's going to have somebody that I had. Copycat. No, I'm just kidding. I put them together. I kind of got a whole bunch of my guests, and I was like, hey, man, you guys should go on his show. Because he's not one of the people that will say, hey, so I have this bowling podcast called Bowling with the Fef. Do you want to be on it? He wants you to come to him. So it's going to be Tim Chris. And that's going to be Thursday night, I believe, at 8:00 Central, 9:00 Eastern. But like his page, follow his page, subscribe on YouTube, Bowling with the Fef. And if you have a bowling story, email bowlingwiththefef@yahoo.com and see what he's got going on. So you've got that, and you've also got Mike Val's, which I think he's taking a little bit of a break, but Mike Val, subscribe to his channel. He's got some great content. Mike Valenzano, Over the Cap. Please check it out. Mike and Johnny Petraglia Jr. were on this show, and that was so much fun. Oh my gosh, it was a lot of fun. So there we go. Follow your bowling podcasts, whatever it is. Straight Up 5, Bowling with the Fef, and enjoy it. And thank you very much. And I will talk to everybody tomorrow afternoon. Peace out, guys. Have a good night. Be safe.